Hello and welcome to the Pink Hair Girl podcast. My name is Sally Jane, otherwise known as Pink Hair Girl, and it is really wonderful to be with you here again today. Sincerely apologize for the video being up late last week. It was worth the wait. And just to say, the visit with my mom and my sister was really wonderful. It was actually lovely to see my sister. I haven't seen her in about almost 4 years now, so it was really good to see her. So I think I'm going to mix this up a little bit, and I might go straight into acquisitions because it's so exciting. So my poor sister, she arrived with this massive suitcase that she'd flown the night before, the day before she'd arrived in Johannesburg, and was with my parents. And I think it unpacked a few things there. And then, you know, the rest of the luggage size suitcase, a proper full size suitcase, she brought down to Cape Town the next day when they came here on Monday, was for Sarah, my other sister, and I might have ordered a little bit of yarn. And Emma sent some textbooks. He's studying his honours degree this year, and some of the textbooks he could only find overseas, and so he'd ordered them on eBay and sent those to my sister. And other people might have sent me some stuff, and so and then it was all the Christmas presents that she brought back for my children, because, you know, we hadn't seen them at Christmas, and my dad and Caleb hadn't gone over. So it was all the Christmas presents, and then all the birthday presents for during this year that she just bought and, you know, brought along with her. She had nothing in her suitcase. I actually had to lend her clothes to take back that night because they were only here for the one day. My mom had to have chemo again by Wednesday, so they were home on Tuesday just to you know, have a day to relax, and then mom had chemo again on Wednesday. So, and my mother's looking great. Some of you will have seen the photographs on Instagram, and I'll try to insert a few here as well. And she gets a bit tired, but she's looking fantastic. And Rachel gave my mom her hat, and she was delighted with that. And my mother commented about how lovely and clean my house was. So you've got to know. Oh, and when she phoned me during the week and spoke to me, she commented again how clean my house was. So I must have done a really good job. Either that means I did a really good job, or it means my house was awful before. Anyway, so we only got Monday together, but it was really lovely. Yes, I really do appreciate her being the yarn mule for me. So without further ado, let me show you what I got. I don't even know where to start. It's all here next to me. Let's start with what I bought that came with my sister. Right, so those of you that are on Instagram will remember that Fluff Yarns had some drops lace on sale or on special, and I got some, and it is baby alpaca and mulberry silk. Now, it's not super baby. If you don't watch the Dairyland Knits podcast, do yourself a favor. Rachel was just laughing so much. His laugh is just like super infectious. It just makes you want to laugh, and he's lovely, absolutely lovely. And his episode is an episode called Super Baby. So you must go and watch it, because I'm not going to even, but it is really very funny. So this is not super baby. It's just normal. What is it with smelling yarn? Why do we smell yarn? I don't know why we smell it. I know sometimes the indie dyers, you know, sometimes rinse it in something, or it's, you know, but I mean, generally, why do we, I mean, it does smell nice. I mean, is it kind of sheepy, or is it, I mean, this is alpacas as well. It's not really going to be sheepy, is it? Anyway, so this is drops lace in baby alpaca, and I did ask on Instagram which ones I should get. I wish I could have got them all. So this is the blue color that I got. The light is really funny. It's terribly overcast today. So I feel like it's throwing shadows all over the place. Normally I'm closing the curtains because the light is, but I feel like there's a very harsh glare on the one side and really dark on the other side. So I hope that's going to come out. It's actually more of a turquoise. It's much more of a turquoise blue. Anyway, so this is my drops lace in baby alpaca and mulberry silk in turquoise, because the geek says that I look nice with turquoise in my pink hair. So even though there's a beautiful purple, oh, the purple was beautiful. Sorry, that actually needs to be re-pinked. I can see the ends are getting a bit lighter. Oh, but I got new hair dye. My sister arrived with new hair dye. So this is so lovely. Oh, it's already got pink hair on it. So I got this blue, this turquoisey color. I don't have so much in turquoise. I had a tracksuit top. What do you call it, a tracksuit top? I never know who calls anything what. Oh, thank you so much for the discussion on flip-flops on the group and what they called in different places. The input from the Australians proved definitely to be of great comic value, especially the Yonder woman telling me about how there's sort of signs in some of the clubs in Australia about no thongs, because they're called flip-flops thongs, and that the tourists can sometimes be a bit worried that their underwear is going to get checked. Anyway, so back to tracksuit top. So like I would call it tracksuit top. I had one on earlier. Like it could be closed, but I generally would have it like made of fleece, or that kind of where it's like a cotton on the one side and fleecy on the inside, and it zips up and normally has a hood. Do you know? Anyway, that's a tracksuit top. I had a turquoise one like that, and I wore it so much. You know, when eventually between the ribbing, the cuff and the thing, it actually wears a hole. It had just worn out. It's such a beautiful color. It's really lovely, and it eventually just wore out. And so that I thought, if I get that turquoise, then I can knit something, you know, in a sort of a similar color. Anyway, the other color I got was this gray, this really lovely sort of silvery gray, and it's not as that's not bad. There we go. It's a really lovely gray. It's not it doesn't look totally solid. It's kind of like almost like the strands are, I think it's where the mulberry silk and the alpaca take the dye slightly differently, so it's really got some richness to the color. So this is my gray and my, there we go. Oh, my lovely side. It's so soft. Oh my gosh, I mean seriously, alpaca is ridiculously soft. After I knitted it for my sister's hat, I think I'm quite in love. Really so soft. So I think I'm going to make cardigans from these, or I don't know. The idea was to make sort of sweaters, and they've got such a large quantity, and the sale was brilliant, so I could get quite a lot of yarn for it not being so expensive. Now where's the yardage? It's something like 800 meters, I think. It's very odd. This doesn't say. I'm sure it's 800 meters. Oh, yeah, this side of the label. I knew it had to be a somewhere. Yeah, 800 meters. 875 yards. So there we go. Should be enough. I mean, especially with two of them. So like 1,600 meters. Yeah, I can even do math so early in the morning. It's like, you're going to laugh. It's like 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock in the morning, and I know some people record their podcast much earlier than this, but it's 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning, which means that I had to get up at 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning because, you know, the children go swimming. But I did find sometimes I would wake up as they leave, and then by the time I started podcasting and faffed about and wrote my notes and got everything, they would either be coming home or the garden would be coming home and I wouldn't be finished and all the rest. So I was determined that I said to Emma, I have to get up when you get up. So I'm ready to like press the record button as you leave. So it is still very early. Right, so that was the alpaca, the first thing I bought. So I haven't broken my stash down because this was actually purchased last year, so it counts as last year's stash. Now, the next one. Oh my gosh, this really was worth the wait. It is beautiful. Now, those of you that have watched for a while might know that I'm a bit of an Outlander fan, but I haven't actually watched that much of the series yet. I read the books, and I think I'm on about book 6 or book 7. I really, really have enjoyed them. So, Ginger Twist Studios, Jess of Ginger Twist Studios, dyed a Outlander colorway. Now, I don't speak French at all, so my mother and Emma have been schooling me in how to say all the labels I'm supposed to say today, and I'm in a messed up horribly still. This is the Jamie. I don't know if any of you watch Outlander even know what it's about. Like, the sort of the main male character is Jamie Fraser, and the Fraser clan motto is "I am ready." You see, but it's in French, so it's "Je suis presse," which is probably awful. So yes, this is 100 grams of 80% superwash BFL and 20% nylon, and I say in the special Outlander colorway that Jess did, and it is, the colors are so rich and so, oh, they're fantastic. These sort of greens and right through to sort of blue. Oh, that's looking terribly washed out. I think it's kind of look better. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that green is not, that's a really bright green over there. I'll maybe try and take a picture and put it in, because this is washing it out horribly. Oh my word, this is so beautiful. Jess, thank you. It is amazing. And I had ordered this ages ago, when my dad and Caleb were going to go last year, and I had sent it to Claire, or Claire had picked it up at Ginger Twist Studios for me, and then she sent it down with a whole bunch of other things to my sister now before she came. So I mean, this is just, oh, so lovely. So yes, this is my Outlander. I have no idea what to do with it. Absolutely no idea. I mean, could I make socks with something this nice? I don't know. I mean, this is just so much loveliness. Turquoises and, oh, I don't know if I can make, I mean, I love my socks. So I don't know. Anybody got ideas? Maybe a shawl? But I don't know, it's a bit variegated. I don't normally make shawls from variegated stuff. If you bought this colorway, what have you made with it? I need to know. Right, so that's the one thing. And then I have, so those are the things I bought. So let's go on to what I got, shall we? So Claire was very naughty. She sent me lots of lovely yarn. She's so sweet. So I got from Ginger Twist again, I got the little cat feet colorway, and this is 200 meters. It's a luscious worsted weight, 70% BFL, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. I'm like, wow. And it is, it's grey, but it's not flat grey at all. It's really got sort of almost little blue bits and little, it's just such an amazing colorway. Oh, it is so pretty. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe a hat. I think this is going to be a hat. So yes, that was that from Claire. And then she sent me some Orkania Ranco. And this, I don't think they give names. I think it's just numbers. 75% wool, 25% polyamide. 344 meters. So these are going to be socks. I mean, how cool is this? It's grey and yellow and pink and just really fun. So these are definitely going to be socks. So isn't that fun? That's such a great color. And then she sent me, now Helen, I need you to go and say all of the names that I'm now going to butcher completely on your podcast, please. Because if Knitting Annie could ask me how to say rooibos, then I have to get my Scottish friends to help me out here. Because I don't actually even know if I'm going to try. Because it's like, you know, when people come to London and they look for Leicester Square and things like that, you know, I feel like I'm going to be, all the locals are going, sniggering as I say it all wrong. But Claire got me this handspun. I mean, that is just gorgeous. It's in these orange and natural and almost, it's just beautiful. So I would say Sinath, which I'm sure is completely wrong, handspun yarns and hand knits made in the Isle. And if you read it, it's going to be Islay. But Emma was Googling it, and I think it's something like Awe or something like that. So Helen, here is the label. So it's Sinath yarns, and where is it made? The Isle of what? How am I supposed to say that properly? Please help out this poor little South African that has no idea. And it is in the Summer Sunset colorway, 100 grams DK sport weight, 50% British wool, 50% British alpaca, 50% British wool, 25% British alpaca, and 25% local Shetland wool. And it is just beautiful. It's hand-spun. I don't think I've ever had anything hand-spun before. Not like this. And it comes with a little card. Then she tells you that this Sinath, which I'm sure is all wrong, is a Gaelic word relating to both hand-spun woolen yarns and the thread continuing of traditional craft, hand spinning and knitting done by generations of the Hebridean woman. So the colours reflect the island landscape, and her yarns reflect a strong ethos of using mostly island source material. Fine sheep fleeces on her farm, washed, combed, carded, and then hand spun by her. So these are really great, and her name is Susan Campbell. And this is beautiful. I mean, Claire got this specially spun up for me in orange, because she knows I love orange. I am so delighted with this. I'm not sure what to do with it at all. Maybe a hat. I think I'll make a great hat. Anyway, so that was my yarn from Claire. Didn't she spoil me? She's so naughty. But I was really delighted. So that was all my yarn from Claire. I must move on. I've got so much to tell you. I've been blathering on already for ages. Then Suzanne on are you a Suzanne or are you a Susan? I'm not sure, because my Afrikaans friends here would be Suzanne. Or Suzanne? I don't know. Susie, you're going to have to tell us. She sent some mini skeins for both Sally and I. So the entire dining room table was covered in presents for, as Jenny unpacked her stuff and I was giving her stuff, things to take for her children, her hats, etc., etc. Oh, she loved her hats. All of them. So I have no... Maybe we spoke about, I kept knitting more hats in case she didn't like any of them. So I had the baby alpaca one in a separate packet, and she took it out and she looked at it and she put it on and she said it was lovely. But I mean, obviously it's boiling hot here. She's not going to try it out. And I think it was more when I was knitting it with Caleb sitting next to me, there's a bit of sort of fluff coming off, and that's what he was reacting to. So I don't know if it's going to affect her. She's taken it, and then she said she'll try it out, and if it does make her sneeze or cough or wheeze or affect her asthma or whatever, she will give it to my mom when my mother visits at the end of the year. I think my mom is going over near the end of the year. I don't know if for Christmas or near that time anyway. So at least then my mom will have a warm hat if my sister is allergic to it. And she really loved the bright pink one. She said that was, you really need a nice pop of color when it's cold and dismal and grey. And she loved the Measure in Love about the sisters, and she was really touched by that one. So no, she loved all of them. So I don't have a baby alpaca hat. So I really will just have to buy some more of that bulky baby alpaca and knit myself a hat. What do you think? Do you think that blue? I mean, I got that blue for her, but I actually thought it actually looked quite nice with my hair. So I need some votes on what you think. What color baby alpaca you think I need to get to make myself a lapsang hat? So what was I saying? Oh, so my sister took all the hat. Oh, the table was covered in stuff. So there's a parcel in one of those grey sort of post office plastic envelope things. And it says Sally on the front of it. And there are quite a few people that just call me Sally. And so therefore me rip it open. As I rip it open, I see there's one underneath that's labeled Sally Jane. So I actually by mistake ripped open Sally's Wool Diaries pack of mini skeins. I put it all back, and I did tell her that I'm sorry, Susie, I ripped open Sally's package, but I put it all back very nicely, and then I ripped open my own called Sally Jane, and she sent all these mini skeins. They are so lovely. And she sent a letter and all about all the different mini skeins. I don't even, yeah, it's a bit hard to show these, isn't it? These ones, and then there's more. Just don't have hands. Look at my mom and Emma both commented on this one. It's kind of a bright pink with orange and then blues and all sorts of other colors with it. And I mean, there are some gorgeous ones. Some even feel like they've got a bit of silk or bamboo or something in them. I mean, they're such lovely. I mean, look at that bright. Look at that nice colors there. I don't have big enough hands. Oh dear. This is a bit disastrous, isn't it? There we go. No. Rubbish. I'm totally rubbish at this. Maybe I should just do less at a time. Hey? Pink ones and bright ones. And these ones. So, isn't it amazing? And that's not all. She sent a project bag. Isn't she so sweet? Mine's got little pink and red and yellow and orange and stuff buttons. And it's all lined inside. And it's got a little pocket inside. It's just so cute. And a notions pouch, because we all know how short of notions pouches I am. So now I have 3 for my 5 million project. And inside that was some tea. What did I get? I got fresh and fruity raspberry, strawberry and loganberry, which sounds lovely. And some rosy retro stitch markers. I don't know if I can show them all together. Let's see. Oh, can you see those? Yeah, they're very sweet little stitch markers. Isn't that lovely? So she sent stitch markers and some tea and a notions pouch and a project bag and mini skeins. Thank you so much. It was really very, very kind of you and very generous, and it was most greatly appreciated. And I actually think on most of these, there might be enough that I could share some of them with Sally if she had different. I know some of the colors are a bit different. So I'm going to knit mine up, and then if there are extras, then I can pass them on to her. So thank you so much. And to make one for Sally and I, we just really thought we'll just share whatever there is, you know. But to make a whole pack for both of us, so very, very kind. We greatly appreciate it. So that is that. I'm like moving everything to the side here, and then I'm going to be covering up, because on this side I put carefully everything that I received, and on this side I had everything that I'm working on. So I'm going to have to do a bit of a rearrangement. So we're nearly coming to the end of everything I got. So the Wombles mug. I feel like such a kid. So Cara B on Ravelry, Cara.Thompson on Instagram, and the Knit All the Things podcast host, posted about getting a Wombles mug. And I love mugs. I really love quirky mugs. And so she, I don't have an eBay account. And then, of course, after Emma got all these books and stuff that my sister brought for him, I realized that he must have an eBay account. I mean, I stupidly could have used his. Sorry, Cara, for being so stupid. But anyway, I didn't have an eBay account. And so she bought it for me and sent it to my sister. And then I just sent her the money, which is very nice. So I got my Wombles mug. Isn't that cool? So the light is terrible. I have to open the curtain so there's enough light, because otherwise it was really. And now, of course, the sun's sort of coming out. I hope it's not terribly glary and horrible. Anyway, so it's my Wombles mug. My sister didn't think I was very odd. My Wombles mug. And I haven't even drank out of it yet because I was saving it to show you all on the podcast. I suppose I could have been drinking out of it, hey. But then with me trying to turn it around and all the rest, I would have been sloshing it all over the show. Yeah, we don't wanting to slosh coffee all over baby alpaca and stuff like that. No, it's just not on. And then the last thing, two things I got were then in magazine or print format was the Knit Now magazine that features yours truly. It's exciting. Oh, it also features, let me show you because I came to that first, a blueberry bonbon from Claire Divine. Oh, this blueberry bonbon, what they've called it, but it's actually Claire Divine's oolong hat. Claire, if oolong is a tea, is this part of the tea collection? It would make sense, hey? But I didn't see it as part of the... Anyway, I'm show you. Oh, wrong one. Don't want to show you the pattern, just the hat. Hope the light's not showing that terribly. Isn't that a pretty hat? That's Claire's hat in the Knit Now magazine. Right, so that was that. So I'm just trying to actually look through here for this, you know, if I was one of those like organized people, I probably would have marked the place in the magazine. I've gone past it. Oh, here we go. It's called The Thread, Finding Inspiration Online. And look there. It's all about me and my book, my Mzansi book. Is that fitting in the screen there? Here we go. Oh, I'm probably in that little screen. How cool is that? So it was, they did a little interview with me, and yeah, so that showed my book and all my stuff, which was really great. I've never seen myself in a magazine before. So my sister brought me that, and then Claire sent me a copy of her head to toe book, which I've only ever had an e-copy before. And this is really lovely. I mean, Claire's stuff is always set out so beautifully. And Jess of Ginger Twist models all of her stuff. And I mean, of course, with her fiery red hair, it always looks amazing. And there's the collection. So, very nice. Well done, Claire. The book is beautiful. And I'm really delighted to have a copy. So I got that Claire sent down with my sister as well. And I think that is all for my acquisitions. Didn't I do well? I don't have any finished objects. Sally, stop sniggering. So let's move straight into works in progress. So this week, I mean, my mom and them were here and just stuff was happening. I don't know. I didn't get that much time to knit. And then, what time I did get to knit, I feel like I made absolutely no progress on anything. Because, now, Sally has broken me. She says I was horrible to call her mean last episode. No, I love Sally, and it's always just a bit of fun between us. And she does keep me focused. So I always am hugely appreciative, even if I call her mean sometimes. But because I have been knitting on, she's kind of got me knitting one thing at a time. You do tend to finish stuff a bit quicker. You don't have as much different stuff to knit at the same time, and there are pros and cons to both. But I feel like I'm knitting a little bit on this and a little bit on this. I actually feel like my attention is a bit divided. I like having a variety of things to pick what I feel like knitting at that point and then sort of focus on it. I mean, I often do. I will have quite a few works in progress, but I'm often only really working consistently on one or maybe two at a time. So sometimes a more complicated one at home, and then if I'm going out, I'll have it on the go project. But I just felt all over the place this week. I don't know what it was. So let me show you what I've been all over the place with. I'm knitting the Valentine socks, and I landed up just doing them vanilla actually, because I was going to do a slip stitch sock, but I didn't want to do a slip stitch. There's one where the slip stitch goes all the way along the sock in a line, and there's one where just as the color changes on the stripe, you just slip the stitches in that row as the color changes, if that makes any sense. But these rows are, or the color changes are quite short. So that wouldn't really have worked. I've got the yarn across the front here. But I'm loving it. I absolutely love the colorway. It's sort of the pink stripe has sort of a lighty pink and then a bright pink and then a more sort of, into more of a sort of a reddy pink almost. And then there's the black, which has got white spots in it every now and again, and the white. I love it. I really absolutely love it. So you will notice that I am doing 2 socks at the same time on 2 different needles. I despise, with an absolute passion, 2 at a time on the same needle from the same ball. Maybe it's just me, but I get the whole lot so bloody tangled up that it just gets in such a tangle that I find it unpleasant, and I find that I'm spending so much more time untangling that yarn. Even if it's just, gets slightly twisted in every couple of rows, you need to spend 10 seconds or something untangling it. It starts to add up after knitting an entire sock. So I did not enjoy 2 at a time on the same needle at all. So, and I know many people swear by it, and I suppose the same as those that love devil pointed needles and those that like magic loop, or those that hate the one and hate, we've all got our preferences. So I do not like that. But what I was finding was, even though I have a very standard sock, number of stitches that I make and put the same toe in, knit up the foot, put the heel in, they weren't landing up exactly the same. I don't know what the heck I was doing. Like, sometimes I would increase in a slightly different place because I've got a very high arch, so I tend to increase up before I put the heel. Sometimes it wasn't exactly the same. Sometimes I'd land up with 1 stitch more on the one than the other, or I wouldn't knit the leg as long, and I'd measure them against each other. I mean, case in point was my socks I just finished, the New Year's confetti ones. They're almost the same, but they're not quite. So this was annoying me, because I'm just a dork. I mean, how can you knit 2 socks straight after each other and not remember exactly what you did, or not do it in the same place? So, cast on the 1 toe. Wrote down what I did, even though I do the same thing, wrote down what I did. Cast on the next toe, did exactly the same thing. My socks match, not in color, but I mean, they should. I mean, you're doing the same thing. But sometimes I'd find I'd have 11 on the one. Don't ask me. Anyway, hence 2 socks. And then I marked exactly where the toe ended on each one, so I could count the number of rows, and then make sure that I knit exactly the same. So that's how far I am on 2 socks. So 2 project bags in one, otherwise it gets a bit tangled. So this one goes in my strawberries bag, and it's from Strawberry Lane. She's on Etsy as well. So that's that one. And then this one goes in the bag that Sally made me for the Valentine's. And then this one goes inside this one. So I keep the project all together, but just the things, otherwise I was getting a bit tangled up with the yarns. So Valentine's socks. So I didn't think I did too badly on those. What else did I knit? I knitted a bit on my lace because I keep feeling bad. I keep trying to think I need all these things finished. I'm a bit of a product knitter. I like to have finished stuff at the end. But then when I start knitting exclusively on one of the things, because I know that I need to finish all the stuff this month, then I think, oh, but I need to do the other thing as well because I need to finish that this month. Hence, I'm not getting anywhere. Just finish one thing at a time. And then, I mean, in January, I did finish the socks, even though I left them a little bit later till the end. I can knit socks pretty quickly. So anyway, here is my one that I'm trying to have finished for the Geek and my anniversary. In this sort of pinky color. That's actually not bad. It was much more orange last time, but it's kind of a bright pink, and then it's got some lighter pink bits in it that my friend Grundula dyed for me. And that's as far as I got on that. Which in lace, actually, I mean, it was probably about there last week. So I mean, I did do a fair section on it, and in lace, that's quite a lot of knitting. But I didn't sit down and knit on that every night, so hence not so much progress. And then in my bag from Elaine Ellaby is my, sorry for the crinkling, sock yarn blanket, which I am a couple of squares behind on again. And now I've taken, you see, because I take the photo on a Sunday to put up on the Heidi Bears group, I finished 2 more last week after I showed you to have my 7 last week. And then took the photo and promptly took those markers off because I needed to put the new markers on for this week. And I have no idea which were the last 2 I did last time. I have a feeling it was something like maybe that red one and this one, or I don't know. Anyway, sorry, this one's on the needle still over here. These are the ones that I've done this week. So you can see there's just these 3 and then 4 that I'm doing now. So I'm woefully behind for this week. And that's how much I've done so far. So anyway, so I listed a bit on that, and then I keep feeling guilty that I hadn't done this. So then I would do it, and then I wouldn't do other things, and then, oh, you know. Then, and this is all Cara's fault. No, it's not. I started a log cabin, but I might actually put this away for a little bit because I don't have the right colors yet. I am using, you know, just to make my life difficult, a discontinued yarn. And it was the one that I overdyed, you know, those light ones that I overdyed. And the problem is that my palette is all very similar colors because they've been overdyed. You don't get a bright blue, obviously, and I can't make a pink over yellow. So I'm landing up with lots of sort of greens, you know, variations of greens, and orange yellow variations, and red. And I mean, that's mostly what I've got. Now I've got more sort of greeny, but they're not that different. Now I'll have a couple of different greeny turquoises, but I mean, in the blanket, they're not going to look that different. And again, with the greens that I've got, you know, so, and I've got some oranges and reds as well. Sorry. And then this was one of the colors that's already in this. Oh, it's falling apart here. This was one of a slightly brighter yellow. And here's another orange, but you know, like especially some of these oranges are quite close. And then when you've got them all in the same squares, they start looking like everything matches a little bit. I mean, I know this is a much lighter green than this, for example, but it's starting to look all a bit, I don't have like neutrals or like a bright blue or a bright pink or a purple or, yeah, because then when you overdye in yellow, it's very hard to get a true blue because it's going to draw the color towards green because of the yellow. So I'm trying to see if I can find some more. I've just about emailed every yarn shop I can find because it's discontinued to find out if anybody's got a bit left on their shelf somewhere. I have found one supplier that said they have quite a lot of this rusty brown color, which I could then use for the edging because it's got quite a big edging around it, but not in this rusty brown because then it's just going to really blend. I mean, if you've got the whole thing in these sort of colors and then your edge in this rusty red, I think is it a rusty red? Not really a rusty brown, hey, a rusty red color. So I was wondering if there was one supplier that had a couple of bags of these, so that would be enough to do the edge. I wonder if I can overdye it brown. But I don't want to make, you know, when children at nursery school mix all the colors together and makes that yucky sort of army brown. I would be very upset if my dyeing skills are really very, very beginner level, rudimentary or whatever. So I would be rather worried if I overdyed all of this to try and make brown and I made some sort of horrible nursery school mixed paint color. You see, this would look nice if this was a chocolate brown round all the borders, then that would be quite nice. So I don't know yet. So I might actually, Cara started her log cabin blanket, and I think the natural needler wanted to make one, and I have wanted to make one for ages. So I thought I should just start. But I think the colors, there's not enough differences or neutral colors with it to balance it at the moment. So I might actually, until I see what I can find. And there is somebody in Joburg that thinks they know, Michelle, who thinks that she knows where she can get some more for me. Or I'm going to have to find some other sort of a DK. This red square is actually nurturing fibers in there, and it does feel different. It's not as soft as this one. It's a different, I mean, the nurturing fibers one is a super twist DK, and this isn't as twisted. It's just slightly different. So I don't know. I might actually put that log cabin on hold, because I don't know that I totally like the colors the way they're coming out at the moment. Enough that I would want every square to look like that, because I've got basic variations of those sort of colors. Yeah. So that's the log cabin. That was a lot of what I was playing around with this week, actually, was balling up all the balls that I had in skeins, you know, for this, and playing around with the different colors. And I have to see what I can get, and I might put that on hold. And if anybody knows how I can make chocolate brown out of my rusty red without making nursery school brown, please let me know. And that's actually everything I'm working on, which isn't even all that much, but I just felt really fractured this week, all over the place with different projects and busy. I think that was the thing. I was very busy with the children, so I had so snatches of time to knit. And then I was, you know, trying to finish the squares on the, so you sit down, you've got kind of half an hour or something. So you do a square on the sock yarn blanket. And then you come back and sit down later and you can knit again. So then I did a piece on the log cabin blanket. So by the end of the, and then I would start knitting on my socks or my top. So I would start knitting on the main project, either the socks or the top that I'm knitting, much later after having completed the little ones. And then just feeling like I got nowhere. So Sally has broken my ability just to have loads and loads of whips. I think it's because I've got deadlines. I need to finish up. And I need to make Titus a monster. The monster. It came out really cute. And I'll have to put pictures in. So I knitted the Daphne and Delilah by Rebecca Danger for my sister's daughter, my little niece. And I finished it. And it actually all worked out really well. The colors went really well together. Now in the pattern, the little monster has a pocket on the front, and then it's got a face, and the small monster fits inside. And it took me, like I said, you never think that the finishing stuff is going to take so long, but 2 arms, then to stuff and to sew on all the arms, to sew closed everything, to stuff them, and then to knit the pocket and to add the pocket on, cut out, I made felt eyes in the end, and then I did very small stitches and just stitched the eyes and the mouth on very well, you know, sort of just totally stitched on so she can't bite it off or anything. That took me until about midnight on last week Sunday, and then with the cleaning and everything, so that was why I didn't have time to edit the episode and get it up before. And then I landed up speaking so much, there's quite a lot I had to cut out. The episode was long enough as it was. I think I cut out about half an hour extra, if you would believe that. Anyway, so as I was sewing up the little monster, Titus loved it so much. He kept playing with it and the baby and all the rest. And he said it was the papa and the baby. It wasn't a mommy monster. It was the papa and the baby. And every time when I had got both the little monsters made, I just hadn't put the faces on yet. I'd cut out all the pieces of felt. And he kept taking the monster and putting the baby in the pouch, and then running around with it and playing with it and all the rest. And I had the felt, it had it laid on my lap, and I had the eyes on in front with the pouch and stuff. And he said, Mom, you're putting the eyes on the wrong side. It's a backpack. And he was absolutely insistent that the eyes go on the other side, and that it's a backpack pouch, and that the baby goes on the back. And I actually thought that was quite cute. That was quite a cute idea, because in the one where it sits in the mom's like kangaroo pouch, the little baby sometimes blocks the mother's face a little bit. And so I thought a backpack was a cute idea anyway. So we turned ours into a baby and a backpack. So I did have a finished object. It was just I finished it last week Sunday, so I kind of forgot it didn't count last week. So I'll put pictures in. And then it went off the next day with my sister. So I didn't get that many pictures, but I think it came out really cute. And Titus is desperate for one. So I need to knit one of those for his birthday as well, which is the 27th of February. So I need to get on. So that is all my one finished object tagged at the end and my works in progress. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the Burns Unit project that Rachel is doing. For those of you that want to know a bit more about why Rachel is doing this project or about her and stuff, go and watch last week's episode. And you get a prize and you get a prize episode. And I tell you a bit about what she's doing in there. I went to go visit the Burns Unit at the Red Cross Children's Memorial Hospital, which was, interestingly enough, and I know I was going to be brief, but this is really interesting. I found that after the Second World War, the soldiers that came back from having fought in the war wanted to make a memorial, but they didn't just want to put up a bunch of statues and stuff. They wanted to make some sort of a living memorial, some kind of way of making a difference. And they thought, well, why do soldiers go to war? And they go to war to protect their country and their families, essentially, you know, to make a better future for their children. And so they started the children's hospital, you know, hospital specifically dedicated to children. And that's how the Children's War Memorial started. Every soldier that came back from the Second World War in South Africa donated 1 month's pay towards starting the children's hospital, and then they did other fundraising and things like that. And there is now actually the hospital nearly closed in 1994 because it's quite expensive to run a pediatric specific hospital. And so there is now a trust, a NGO fundraising organization called the Hospital Trust that raises funds to keep the hospital going and for all the new equipment and theatres. And so they've got very specialist cardiac and burns and chemotherapy and cancer wing. Anyway, so I went to go and meet this amazing doctor that works on the burns unit there. She's so passionate about what she does and she's amazing. And she said in the actual burns unit, you know, they can't really have anything that could cause infection, you know, big on infection control with the open wounds in the burns unit. A vast majority of their cases come from rural or informal areas, some from the Eastern Cape as well, and a lot are involved in shack fires. So in more rural and less established areas in South Africa, the housing is much more informal. You know, it's sort of quickly put up, fast shanty shack kind of things. And a lot of people don't have electricity and cook on open fires or paraffin lamps, all these kind of things. So fires in these areas happen, you know, quite quickly. And so a lot of the children are burned from shack fires. And they come sometimes from very, very poor rural communities or from the townships and stuff. And they come in sometimes having lost everything, you know, if their shack has burnt down. And the mothers will come in what they're wearing only, and with the child, and sometimes, you know, from as far as the Eastern Cape, which is a whole different province from here. And they come in what they're wearing, what they've got, and that's it. And sometimes, because it's often shared ablutions and there's no running water, hygiene isn't as good always. And the number one thing they like to hand out to the moms when they come in is a toiletry bag of things for her and the child. So then because there's a nursing shortage as well, the mothers help with looking after the children and sometimes the washing and the bathing, depending how sick the children are. And this doctor's been instrumental in getting kangaroo beds. So the chair next to the bed actually folds up and then folds out into being a whole bed, because the doctor's really passionate about the moms staying with the children. The children do better with their parents with them. And she asks the mom in the morning on the ward round, how is your child and how did they sleep? Because she said they're the ones that know how the night went. So they hand out toiletry bags to the moms so that they can make sure that the moms have good hygiene, so that when they're looking after their children, there's less risk of infection control. So they have toiletry bags, and they sometimes run out. And what they normally put in it is a toothbrush, toothpaste, face cloth, you know, washcloth, soap, I think a spray deodorant, aqueous cream, and a lip Vaseline in the pack. And so she said that would be a nice thing for Rachel to help to raise some money to get some of these sort of toiletry packs. So I have started a thread on my group for Rachel's charity, Knit Along, if you like. And for those that would like to join, we're trying to make the washcloths. And I can buy washcloths, I know that. But I think it's really nice to actually receive a knitted washcloth from somebody. I think it adds an extra level of somebody cares, somebody's sending you good wishes and love during a time that must be unbelievably difficult for these mothers. And I knitted one last night. So I have another finished object. What did I do with it? Hold on, let me see if I can find it quickly. Sorry, I knitted this last night at Virtual Knit Night, so I knew I'd done it. So there's just a little, mine's very plain, pink one that I did. So we just thought it'd be really nice to include some hand-knitted washcloths into the toiletry sets. And if anybody did want to donate some money towards buying all the toiletries to put in those, that would be greatly appreciated as well. Or if any of the South Africans that are posting stuff want to pop in a few things for me to add to the toiletry packs, I'd really greatly appreciate that. And then the other thing that she suggested that Rach could do with her little cub group was to make little plastic cups, and they do use sweeties as like after a traumatic dressing or after something, you know, they like to have a little treat for the children sometimes. So she said that there was a cub group before that used little, you know, cheapish plastic cups and filled them up with a few sweets and a popcorn or chips or something like that. So we're going to do that with her cub group. We're going to buy some plastic cups and sweeties and do them up with cellophane and make them into sort of individual packs. And the doctor was so sweet. She said she'd help Rachel with a little talk for her cubs, you know, fire prevention and safety, and also what to do, you know, if you get burnt or if somebody else gets burnt, like a bit of an education session. So she was going to do that. And then the other area that they then need stuff in is at the outpatients unit. Once the patients are a lot more on the road to recovery and they come back for their dressings and things like that, they have between 50 to 80 patients every Monday, Wednesday and Friday to come back to dressings clinic to have their dressings done. In winter, it's more, obviously, more fires, more things going in winter, and so that the load increases a bit there. And so that is where we're going to do our hats for handing out at the outpatients clinic, and the staff can have those on hand. The children are very ostracized in the communities and not very well accepted or reintegrated back into communities. They really suffer terrible teasing and things afterwards. And so we just thought that having, it's cold in winter, some of those families have lost everything in their shack fires. And so to have a nice hand-knitted hat, something that somebody's made for you that just says somebody cares and somebody was thinking of you, I think is really nice. So that's what we're going to do for the hat drive. So there is a thread in my group, and I will donate the prizes for this because it's something that we're doing. All my hat patterns, the sale from any one of my hat patterns during this February and March, all the money that I make from those will go into helping to buy the supplies for the toiletry bags and the sweetie things and all the rest. And the prize, the main yarn prize will be some of the heart lamb baby alpaca, that Moy River babe, because I just absolutely love knitting the lapsang hat with that. And I will sponsor somebody to, I'm not going to show you, you saw it in the lapsang hat, but I will sponsor that you can choose the color that you like. You can liaise with Michelle from Heartlam and get a color that you want. So I'm not going to just pick a color because the winner gets to pick what color they want, and I will then organize that for you. And then also I will give away a copy of my Mzansi book, and then one copy of each of my hat patterns will all be as part of the prize. Because I just wanted to say an absolutely enormous thank you to everybody that's helping us with this charity drive. So we'd really like to get some hats and some washcloths to put into the toiletry packs. And if anybody did want to help with some of the costs of the toiletries, please just PM me. And overseas people, I think that probably PayPal is the easiest way to do that. And for the South African people, you might want to EFT me or just send it when you post your hats to me. So an enormous thank you. And I know that this is, you know, a knit along asking you to knit for somebody else and you know, completely for a charity. And I really appreciate anything, you know, that we can get it. And a huge thank you from Rachel as well for helping with this. So that is the knit along at the moment. We were sort of going to run it in the originally when I'd spoken to Sally months ago about what Rachel was doing. The South African group has quite a lot of knit alongs, and so she'd made the February March knit along for the South African group to be the hats, because Rachel was doing this hat drive. But it's difficult because the South African group is mostly about South African stuff. So we didn't want a whole lot of people to feel like they needed to go and join another whole group and all the rest. So South Africans can post their finished hats on Sally's thread, and that's kind of completely separate. And then the knit along, you can post the same hats in my one. I mean, you could use it in the little bobbins knit along as well. I'm going to post my like little face cloths and little hats and stuff into the little bobbins little along, little bobbins and little yellow U, because are doing a little along. So I'm going to post some of my little hats and my little washcloths in those. So I don't mind cross posting between knit alongs and stuff. And yes, thank you very much to everyone that's joined that. And I think with all my acquisitions and everything else, that's probably enough for this episode. So thank you so much for joining me. And I hope that it was worth the wait last week with my episode being a bit late. And I had such a lovely time with my sister and mom. So I really appreciate everybody's patience with me for getting that episode up. Bye-bye, and I'll chat to you all next time.